Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 50 Shades of Tay. I'm your host, Taylor Gonzalez, and I have a very special guest with me today. She's the voice of Princess Leia across several different Star Wars projects, including Star Tours at Disneyland and Star Wars Rebels, which is one of my favorite shows. I have Julie Dolan here with me today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, great. This is the perfect way to start my morning. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me, especially with R2D2 and C3PO there with you as well.
Right. Yes. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
This is very exciting. Uh, do you remember the very first time that you ever experienced Star Wars, whether it was a movie or a show or a comic book?
The very first time was in 1977 when everybody went to see A New Hope. And I was a dancer. So I was a tap dancer, ballet, jazz. So I was into musicals and I was into horror films and old movies like Singing in the Rain and all the Gene Kelly movies and Donald O'Connor and Ann Miller. So I was always into those kind of movies. I was never into like Star Trek or any science fiction. So I went to see it because everybody was going to see it, and it kind of blew my mind. And but I went back to my usual, musicals and horror films, and I don't know why I was into horror films, but I just was.
Hmm.
So, and then I saw the next two, and then I stopped. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, not sure this is for me. If I wanted to go back in time or in the future, I would want to go back in time. So these shows for me, the movies were kind of futuristic. I wasn't into the futuristic stuff then. Um, so that's my first time seeing it. I never saw any comic books. I never read any books, and I never saw the last. Well, at that time there were six. I didn't see the third. The next three
Yeah.
until I got a call from my agent and she said, "Hey, can you sound like Princess Leia from A New Hope?" No, I don't know. So they sent me the Obi-Wan Kenobi speech, the General Kenobi. Years ago, you served my father. So they sent me that, and she said, "Try to match this as best you can." So how I do voice matching is I will play the track and I will talk with it. I'll have the script in front of me and I'll say it along. So I have to match the rhythm, the pitch, the emotion, the gait, everything to try to make it sound like it's one person talking. And then she had that like affected English accent because she had just come back from London. So that sort of showed up in and out of her the whole movie. It showed up in and out. A lot of times she didn't have it. And then when she was trying to be very stern and serious, it came out. So that was in that speech. So I did my best and I sent it in. Never heard anything. And you still don't know what this is for. You have no idea what you're auditioning for. And I guess maybe a month later, my agent called me and said, "Oh, you have a callback." A callback. Usually for voiceover, you either book the job or you don't. But this is really important. So they narrowed it down to three girls, and they brought us into Disney Imagineering in Burbank, which is where they do a lot of the recordings for Disneyland. I'm like, oh, no, and I didn't know that then. And I had a vocal director. She wanted to make sure that I had the right pitch and I had the right accent and I had the right attitude. So I went into the studio. This is probably answering a lot of your questions,
No,
by the
this is
way.
great. It is, but this is great.
Okay, good. They had in the studio they had like a little video camera, or not a camera, but a video screen, and it had the hologram of Leia from A New Hope. And they said this is just for you to feel close to her and for reference and just so you can feel like this is who you're portraying. Okay, now I'm getting some answers on what this is, but I still don't know what it's for. And the speech was very close to the original speech, except it said instead of "Here's my father in Clone Wars, and I beg you to help him in his struggle against the Empire." It was more about the star speeders. I've placed
Mm,
information into your star speeder. And I'm like, what the heck is a star speeder? Now I'm thinking, well, maybe I just didn't see Star Wars enough. And there is a thing called a star speeder. I didn't know. And finished the speech. I walked out of the studio and I turned around and I saw the little screen on the outside of the studio with the hologram, and they played it. And she said what I said, and her mouth was manipulated to form around the words because the words were changed
mm.
of what I said. And I looked up at it. I said, "Is that me, or is that, I mean, was that my voice or Carrie Fisher's?" "No, that's yours." And that's when I realized, okay, I do sound like her because it sounds like it's from A New Hope. And then you don't hear anything for another couple of weeks. And then my agent called me and said, "Okay, you booked it." I'm like, "Great. What is it?" She said, "I think it's a new ride at Disneyland. They're revamping the Star Tours whole thing there, the ride in the ship. And different holograms will be coming out to talk to the people in the ride. And when Princess Leia comes out, that will be you."
Oh.
And then 2 weeks later, she called me and said, okay, you have to go back in. Oh God, of course, as an actor, you go, what did I do? I screwed it up. What did I do? And apparently they just didn't have the microphone placed in the right place. They wanted to make it, I mean, they can do a lot. They're brilliant over there at Disney. Oh my gosh. Uh, but they just wanted maybe to make it sound like a hologram more. I don't
Mm.
know. I would have think they could do that in the After Effects,
Yeah.
but they placed the microphone in a different place. So it was already in my body. It was already in my system. So they hired the vocal coach again to come back just to make sure that I could still do it again exactly the same way. And I nailed it on the first one because, you know, all I had to do was hear her voice. And then I said to them, can I hear her voice? Can I hear that speech again? Let me just kind of practice along. This is how I do. This is how I work. And they said, sure. So they played it. And I go, okay, go. And then we went ahead and we recorded it. Okay, nailed it. So I was a little scared that I thought, oh God, I did something wrong and they're never going to hire me again. And, you know, and then I got invited to Disneyland to see it.
Oh.
And I happened to get Princess Leia. I don't know if they knew I was in there or what, or we just got lucked out. We lucked out. So my agent and I went and saw it, and it was so freaky. And
Oh.
people in the audience or in the stars in the ship were like, "Oh my God, is that Carrie Fisher? Oh, that sounds so great!" And they were just like laughing because she's talking to people in the ride. It was just because that's the first time everybody saw it.
Mhm.
We all saw it for the first time together.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, it was an amazing experience. And then nothing for several years, you know.
Wow. That is
So,
crazy. Now they just recently, I think a few months ago, added some new characters. Now you can get Andor, you can get the Mandalorian with Grogu. But whenever Princess Leia pops up, you can hear like the audience, the people on the ride. It's emotional to
oh,
experience her. And how does it feel for you to know, like right now we're sitting, hanging out, and there are people, it's 9:09 a.m. here. People are on that ride right now, probably hearing your, isn't that weird to think?
yeah, yes, yeah, it is because that's going to outlive me, unless they redo it again. But yeah, that's something that's going to live as long as the ride is around, after I'm gone.
That's
So
crazy
yeah, it's
though.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a cool thing because it's there. It's at Disneyland. That's so exciting, and I can't even imagine what that's like and how many times a day people are hearing your voice. That's so cool.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like who knows how many, yeah, because it's like I think there's four different like vehicles and then it's randomized. So it's like
Oh,
throughout
there's
the
like
whole day.
50 different
Yeah, it's so many
versions
planets.
you can get.
Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite planet when you ride the ride to go visit?
Well, I haven't been back
Oh,
actually.
really?
I don't live in LA anymore, and I haven't been.
Oh.
I'm closer to Florida,
Mhm.
and I have never been to Disney World.
Yeah, I've never been to
Uh,
Disney World either.
yeah, but
Oh.
my favorite planet from watching the movies is Hoth. Actually,
Oh,
I don't know
Hoth is
why.
awesome. Yeah.
Do they go to Hoth on the ride?
They do, and it's really fun
Oh,
because they try and take down the AT-AT, and there's a part where the snow speeder gets like stuck on the snow, and then C-3PO tells everyone to like move forward, and then they slide down. It's fun the way that they include the
Oh,
snow with it. Very fun.
that's
Oh,
great.
but you have to go back. I feel
I
like,
will.
yeah, you have to, and just,
Well, they have it at Disney World as well.
yeah.
And they also, I was also told that, Disney Paris, Disney in Japan, when they have
Wow.
the English version, it's the same voices that they hired. So my voice is in Paris and Japan, and I get friends that go to Disneyland and they go, "Oh my God, I got Princess Leia. I heard you."
Oh,
So
that's so cool.
yeah, it's
I
it's
can't,
really cool.
I can't even imagine. I'm going in a few days because right now it's Halloween time at Disneyland, which is my favorite time. So I'm gonna try for Princess Leia on Star Tours because
Good
it'll be
luck.
very exciting. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll message you and I'll let you know if
Yeah,
I get it or not.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
But
Halloween is my favorite time because, like I said, I like horror films. When I was younger, not so much now. They kind of freak me out and scare me because now that I'm older and I live in the woods, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna watch Friday the 13th anymore or Freddy Krueger or those because sometimes when I'm alone here, I mean, I have a husband, but sometimes when he's working and he's not
yeah,
home, and I literally live in the woods, it's kind of freaky.
yeah,
So.
I would be scared too. Even
Yeah.
if I'm home alone, one of my favorite shows is Unsolved Mysteries. If I'm home alone, I have to have the lights on when I watch that because that is real. You know what I mean? Like that's a real
I
thing.
know. I know. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping for one day we get a Star Wars horror either show or movie, and I think one where it's Vader or it's some Sith characters hunting down some remaining Jedi, but like a horror, I don't know. It doesn't have to lean too heavily into the horror, but I think that would be such a fun premise.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the mashup of two of my favorite things, Star Wars and horror. So that'd be perfect. But we
Yeah.
talked about how you got the role of Princess Leia, and we talked about Star Tours.
Hmm.
There's some other things I wanted to ask you. You have also voiced her in several video games, including Disney Infinity and Star Wars Uprising. How is voicing Princess Leia for a video game different than when you voice her for a series?
Well, you're a lot louder because you're yelling a lot. However, Disney 3.0 was voiced by A New Hope Leia was Anna Graves, and
Oh,
I did Disney 3.0 The Force Awakens. So
oh, okay,
when
the DLC
so
part.
there's a yeah, so there's a lot of dialogue in there. She's not in battle.
Hmm.
The other one, she's in battle. And when I went to record this, it's basically the same process that an actor goes through. You have to look at your lines, you have to see how you feel about things, you have to um, kind of see the story unfold, and so and of course with Star Wars, you don't get a script ahead of time. You don't get anything. You're like right there. So you're like, can I have a second? I just got to read this. So when I did The Force Awakens, I didn't know I was going to be voicing General Leia. And I said, wait a minute, isn't her voice a lot deeper than mine and
Hmm.
gravelly? Yeah, yeah, but you sound like her naturally. So just try to sound like that. Uh, I don't know if I'm your girl for that. So they said, so I went out to my car and they said, listen to this was back when she was still alive,
Hmm.
current Carrie, like an interview. Maybe she's on a talk show or she's giving an interview on YouTube or something. Listen to that. So I'm sitting in my car with my headphones on, listening to General Leia, Carrie Fisher, currently, and I'm trying to match it, and I feel like an idiot in my car, going, you know, uh, "Come on, Han," whatever. I was trying to talk lower, and I walked in and I said, okay, let's try it. So the General Leia in A Force Awakens in Disney Infinity, that's me. And again, there's a lot of dialogue, no fighting, no battles, no yelling. Um, and then the other one I did was Uprising, which literally I just informed somebody that General Palpatine is dead. So I said, take your weapons and move on. General Palpatine is dead. The Force, may the Force be with you. So there was again no uh, action.
Hmm.
So I haven't done, I don't think, a video game, maybe one. and I don't even remember what it was, where I had to yell. In fact, I think I did one where I was Leia and I had to yell, and the director had said to me, there's a big battle around you, so you might want to yell that line. Oh, okay, because you don't hear any battle. There's nothing. It's
Right.
quiet in the booth. So yeah. So any of the video games I've done, like Final Fantasy, I was in
Mm.
Final Fantasy Rebirth and Remake as Aerith's mom. I'm not a player. I'm in the cinematic version, so it's just the story. So
Mm.
I all I'm doing is acting, you know.
That's very cool.
So yeah,
When these games,
but yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Go. No, I was gonna say, but in Star Wars Rebels, there was battles and fighting and yelling and stuff.
Yeah, I love Rebels. It's so good. When
Yeah.
these games do release, though, do you ever play them or watch someone play them and get to see your parts in them?
Yeah, I try to find them on YouTube, or I'll try to find somebody that's a gamer that is playing the game online.
Oh,
And
nice.
if they're not talking through the whole thing, because a lot of times these gamers will talk through the whole thing. But I did find an Uprising,
Mhm.
and I did find The Force Awakens Disney 3.0. The other one I never found. I
Mhm.
was heard it was in a Dave and Buster's somewhere.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
but and I went to Dave and Buster's. I didn't know what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't out yet. So
Hmm. Oh, that's very interesting.
yeah.
But Rebels, we've got to talk about Star Wars Rebels. When you got this role, had you already seen that show, or how did you get ready for this particular voicing of Princess Leia?
That came through a phone call from my agent, and I had not seen the show. And she said, "You have been asked to meet with Dave Filoni, who I didn't know who he was at the time, and they want you to do some kind of in-house Star Wars project." So it's like, okay, again, I have no idea what they want, no idea what it's for. And I went to the studio, which was in LA, and I lived there at the time. And they put these dots all over my face. And then they put a helmet on me and a camera on me. And they said, "You're just going to be doing a scene with R2D2 and C3PO." Oh, okay. And so they put the script in front of me. Now, as a voice actor, you rarely have to memorize your lines, it's right in front of you. And Dave said, "Okay, C3PO is about this tall and R2D2 is a little smaller." Oh, so you want me to he goes, "Yeah, I want you to do a scene as if you're doing a scene with them." Oh, okay. So maybe I should memorize the lines. Yeah, okay. Oh, great. Okay, so I'm memorizing the lines. And I did the scene. Still didn't know what this was for. And he said, "Okay, great. So when you come in for Rebels," and I thought, now at that time I knew what the show was. And my agent was there. She came with me. And we looked at each other. And he said, "When you come in for Rebels, you're going to come into this room, and we're going to have the rest of the cast with you." And whatever he told me, I don't remember what he said. And I said, "Oh, okay, great, thanks." So does that mean I got a job? Another one? "Yep, you're going to be coming in for Rebels." So I said to my agent, "Oh my God, was this an audition? Maybe this was an audition. Maybe he wanted to see if I could really act. I don't know. Or maybe it was for an in-house project that I've never seen." And it was obviously some kind of mocap or performance capture, because the camera was on me and the dots were all over my face. Um, I found out watching an interview with Dave that he went to Disneyland and went to the Star Tours ride and got Princess Leia when they were looking for a Princess Leia for Rebels.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
he said, "Who is that?" And he said, "Is that if that's not Carrie, we need to bring that actress in." So that's how I ended up getting the job.
Oh, that's so cool. I was wondering that too.
Yeah,
I was wondering like how, voicing her one time leads to voicing her in a completely different project. That's really cool to learn that that's how you got the
yeah,
Rebels role.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, very
And
cool.
then I went in that day, and the whole cast was there, and they said that they were once they got the script,
Mhm.
Princess on Lethal, they were so excited that Princess Leia was going to be coming to the show, and they didn't get the script till maybe a few days beforehand.
Oh, wow.
They just because they don't let anybody know what's
Yeah.
going on, and so everybody was there, and we filmed it like, actually we filmed it too. They had cameras on us,
Oh wow.
but we did it like a play reading.
Mm,
Everybody stood in a like kind of a semicircle. Dave was behind the glass directing us, and we had our mic stands with our music stands with the script on it, and then there was a camera on me, on all of us. And I thought, why is there a camera on me? Okay, whatever. And then we did it from start to finish, maybe stopping a few times to readjust.
mm.
But we were able to look at each other and relate to each other, rather than when you're a voice actor, you're in the booth a lot of times by yourself. You don't hear the other person's lines. You have
Mm.
to assume how they're saying them and hope to God when they edit it together that it sounds like you're talking to each other.
Yeah.
But this way we actually were. And then afterwards, um, I think it was uh, who was it? Steve Bloom maybe said to me, I was watching you while you were doing it, and he said, you sound like her so much, and you move like her, and just the way your head was cocking, and it's like, oh, that I wouldn't even think about that. And they said, well, that's what the camera was for. It's picking up your movements so they can do the art for, when they do the animation to do it towards what you're doing. It's to I guess animate how I'm animating. And I thought, oh man, if I would have known that, I would have studied her movements a little better.
Mm.
But I'm sure it was fine. You know what I mean? They're going to animate her however they animate her. But it was really nice to hear that he said that.
Oh, that's very
I think
cool.
it was him. It was somebody. I mean, I didn't know anybody really, the actors. I just met them that day. I know
Mm.
them, some of them now, but I didn't. I just met them for the first time that day, and of course, I was so nervous. It was my first time doing an animated show, so yeah, it was one of the best days of my life. And then, of course, it just changed my world. Um, Being on that show, my whole world blew up
Oh.
with conventions and autographs and people knowing who I am. And it's like, wow, and it's been great for the last, you know, however long it's been, a long time.
It's
2016, I think
crazy.
it came out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy how much time has passed. Because to me, I still think of Rebels as like the newest animated show, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like it
Oh
blows
my
my mind to
gosh,
think about.
no. Yeah. I just
Oh,
finished watching Kenobi, actually.
oh, how cool. Did you like it?
Oh, so great. So great.
It's so fun to
Yeah.
see people revisit their roles all these years later and like see, Hayden with Ewan McGregor again. It's just like it's so
Yes.
exciting.
And he was in the Vader costume.
Mhm.
And what I read was, in order to make him sound like Hayden, they mixed James Earl Jones's voice, the Vader voice, with Hayden's younger voice, and they did a combination. And when I listened to it, I went, I can hear both.
Oh,
It
that's
was
awesome.
it was really smart to do that. It was great.
Ah, very cool. So in all the
Yeah.
different iterations of Princess Leia that you've portrayed, do you have a favorite version of her or a favorite appearance of her?
Uh, of the ones I've done, I don't. Well, I was never in Hoth, but I love the Hoth outfit.
Oh yeah.
Um, but my favorite is Rebels. You know,
Yeah.
I actually tried to get an outfit like that, like the gray skin tight outfit, but I thought, no, that'd be silly for me to wear that to a convention. I don't want to
Oh.
go as cosplay, but what I do now is it's interesting. I always dressed as, when I would do the conventions in the beginning, I dressed normal, just like a normal person. And then one time I bought a white vest, like the one she wore in Hoth, and I took my hair and I braided it and I wrapped it around. And so I had these little kind of buns, but not really Leia buns. They're just like little buns. People went nuts. And I went, oh, they loved it. Oh my God, you look like her. And so the next time I got some white pants
Oh,
and
cool.
a long sleeve white shirt and my vest, and wore my hair like that. And I was given a lightsaber. So I
Ooh.
bring that when it's not on a plane. If
Mhm.
I'm doing a local convention, I can bring it. But I once tried to bring it on a plane, and they thought it was a weapon. And I'm like, don't you know Star Wars? This is not a weapon. Well,
Yeah.
it is a weapon, but I'm not gonna, zap anybody with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah. So it's fun. It's fun to dress up. or not really dress up, but hint at it,
Mhm.
just so when they take a picture with me, it's kind of it makes it feel like it's more Princess Leia than just an actor.
Yeah, very cool. Another thing that I learned about you since we've been corresponding to put this interview together is that you're in a band. And I was wondering, this is so cool to know. I was wondering if you wanted to talk a little bit about your band and also like where people can go if they want to see you perform.
Yeah. Um, well, when I was in LA, I was in about six bands at once, but I've been in about 30 bands, mostly cover and some tribute. I don't do original music. I'm not a writer. So the cover bands that I'm in, or that I was in LA, they're like, it was all girl band called the Undercover Girls. And we did 60s, 70s, 80s classic rock. You would know every song we do. And we kind of retired a couple of years ago, but we keep booking gigs. So I'm actually doing one in September 14th in, it's kind of near San Francisco. It's a winery called Hannah Nicole Winery. And so we're playing there, but I've been in like an In Excess tribute, David Bowie tribute, Bon Jovi tribute, all girl Aerosmith tribute, and here in on the East Coast, I'm in a cover band called Used Groove. It's like the old record players; they have grooves on them, and this is a like used groove. It's like the play you play the song over and over and over, and we do 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and we play up in all over Atlanta, like northern Atlanta, in the pubs and the bars and the ale houses and the taverns and concerts in the park. So they can find usedgroove.com, and they can find out where we're playing if they're in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, hopefully you do an
Yeah.
LA show. I would love to come see you perform. That'd be so
Oh
fun.
yeah. Well, if you want to go to San Francisco
Yeah, I
or near
love
San
San
Francisco,
Francisco.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be so perfect.
yeah. But I do have a TV show that started airing
Oh,
last week.
ooh, okay. Do you want to talk
It's
about that
on
a little bit?
Hulu.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's on Hulu, and it's called Reasonable Doubt. So it's a kind of a courtroom, lawyer-driven drama. And first season is out. I'm not in the first season.
Mm.
Second season started 2 weeks ago, and they have a new episode every Thursday. So there's 10 episodes. I'm in seven of the episodes, and I play the judge, Judge
Oh,
Francis Roth. So I'm the judge in, which was so odd for me to play a judge because when I was younger, all I played are drug addicts, pregnant teenage girls, hookers. I made a living playing hookers on television. So now I'm like, and I did a lot of like judge TV shows where I was in the witness stand getting, pummeled by an attorney, and now I'm on the other side, which is just ironic.
oh my gosh.
So whenever they're in the court, whenever they have a court scene, that's when I'm in it.
Oh, very
So
fun. Yeah, I will definitely
Reasonable
check it
Doubt
out.
on Hulu,
Perfect.
season two. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll watch that because that sounds perfect. I just last week got out of jury duty. I don't know why. I get it every single time that like I'm eligible. I get it every time. And so many of my friends have
How
never been summoned.
funny.
And I went,
Yeah.
I had to be in LA by like the Disney concert hall at like 8 in the morning, which sounds easy, but the traffic is just insane. And I got there and I was like, please don't call me. They only had one case and they're like, everyone else is dismissed. And I was like, oh. So now that I have been excused from jury duty, I can check out your show and not have to
You
stress
know,
out about it.
yeah. I got called for jury duty once in LA, and I lived in the Valley, the San Fernando Valley. And they called me in for like downtown LA. And
Yeah.
I said, there is no way I'm driving to downtown LA, or I'm not going to shuttle or whatever. Can't you put me in Van Nuys? I live 10 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So they switched me. They did.
What?
They switched me.
Lucky. Must
So
mean I say will never switch for me.
I think you can go online, and I think you can ask to be switched to your
Closer
local,
one. Okay.
courthouse. But they kept me, and I had an audition that afternoon. And so I said to them, "Hey, listen, so I have an audition. I'm an actress." And they're like, "We don't care." I'm like, "Oh
Wow.
God." So then at the very end, the judge pulled me aside and said, "Go on your audition. We're letting you go." I'm like, "Well, it's
Oh.
too late now. Can I stay? I missed the audition." They're like, "No, we're dismissing you." Oh, all right, whatever.
Oh boy. And now you get to play a judge.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh my
I did a
gosh.
lot of research on what what their job is. I had to kind of know what I needed and wanted and why I was there and what the judge's attitude. Every time I see with a judge, they're always mean. And speaking of doing research, when I got Rebels,
Hmm.
I I watched. There were six movies at the time. A New Hope and all of them, and I hadn't seen A New Hope since 1977. I watched all six movies because Force Awakens wasn't out yet. My husband and I went to Hawaii on vacation, and I all I did was sit in the hotel room and watch movies because I was going to do the voiceover as soon as we got back. So over and over and over, I watched them because as an actor, I wanted to just find out where she came from and
Hmm.
who her parents were, and Padme. I didn't know who Padme was. Um, all of a sudden, I see, oh, that's her mom. That's her real mom. Okay, what's her real mom like? Oh, that's her real dad. Okay, I had to, just watch the history
Hmm.
of her and when she was born and how she was adopted by Bail Organa and how she started working for him. So I just came full circle with her story. And then I realized where Rebels was, it was right before A New Hope. It's right before she started kind of working for the rebellion and started taking her own missions and things like that, because in Rebels she was working with her dad
Hmm.
and doing a mission for him. So yeah, it was interesting to kind of place where I am,
Hmm.
where she was in Rebels compared to all the movies.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
So yeah, I had to do a lot of research.
Yeah, that is the best kind of research to do, though. I would highly recommend, if you
Yeah.
haven't read it yet, Claudia Gray wrote a Princess Leia of Alderaan book, and it is amazing. So if you haven't read that yet,
Oh,
it's
I
so,
haven't.
so good.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
highly recommend that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Julie,
And I'm friends with a lot of other Leias, like Shelby
aw,
Young and Anna Graves and Misty Lee and uh, uh, mm, my good friend. She plays Padme. She does the voice for Padme. Um,
aw.
uh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh, Cat Tabor. Duh, Cat Tabor. So yeah, and we've done a lot of like appearances together because we've all done Leia in something.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool.
and yeah, it's pretty cool.
I love that. But Julie, I can't
Yeah.
thank you enough for taking time to speak with me and for being here with the droids as well.
Yes, yes.
But it was so nice speaking with you and getting
You
to meet you,
too.
and I really appreciate this. And I hope you have a great rest of
Absolutely.
your day. Where would be a good place for people to follow you to keep up with all your upcoming shows, your appearances?
I would say Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Julie Dolan actress, and I'm on Instagram as Julie M. That's my middle name, Marie. Julie M. Dolan. But I just found out you can change your Instagram handle, and I didn't know you could do that. I thought I was stuck with Julie M. Dolan. I think I want to change it to something maybe actressy or Princess Leia e,
Ooh, that'd be
because
cool. Yeah.
on Twitter, well, X, I'm just call me Leia.
Mm.
But I'm never on there. So that's pointless. So Instagram or Facebook is probably the best. And my website, I mean, I get messages all the time on my website, juliedolanvo.com.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll make sure to
V
put. Oh yeah,
VO meaning voiceover. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll put a link to your website in the description of this video so people
Okay.
can come and check it out and come send you messages and stuff. But thank you again, Julie. It's so nice to meet you and so nice to
You're
speak with
welcome.
you.
Nice to meet you too.
Have a great rest of your day.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.